Hello, Cao Đẳng.
Hello, Mr. Stern.
How are you today, Cao Đẳng?
I'm very well, thanks. And you?
I'm good, thank you.
And hello to everyone in the room.
Hello, các bạn nghe rõ giọng của Cao Đẳng không? Cao Đẳng say hello to everybody. Do you like to tell a little bit, have a little story to tell us?
Well, I actually don't have any story in mind.
Oh.
Just,
then tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Most of the people in the room know me by now, but anyway, I was sitting in the room for the whole morning, listening to your instruction and how you were talking with Alone 4 about the conversation. I thought it's very interesting.
Oh, thank you. So do you like the conversation and what Alone 4 bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was totally agree how you try to explain the last sentence about, English often use the second people in to replace your, the first person in the conversation.
Right.
The very last sentence in the last passage.
Right. Well, like Alone 4 is like Ngọc Lan here and many other people. They are here. I've seen their nicks, screen names for many years. And rarely I talk to Alone 4. This is maybe the second time. But I know for the fact that Alone 4 is a teacher in real life. And I like to talk to him about, the experience. And in real life, because teaching is very challenging job, and a little bit, I feel a little bit sad, a little bit for teacher all around the world, especially in here in Canada, United States, and in Vietnam. I don't know if teachers in other countries doing well in what I mean financially, So, but they still keep doing it because what keep them doing over the years after years, keep them going because they love the job, There's only one thing that keep them going is because they care for people, and mostly they care for the young and the ones who want to learn something from them, and they really do care. I think most people do care about that, raising and teaching younger generation. So I do have a lot of admiration for them, and because the job itself is very challenging, very hard. Sometimes they sweat, sometimes they cry, even some female teachers, sometimes they have students give them a hard time and they have to cry for the job. And they get little pay compared to other professions in life, like some doctor or whoever, or even, like business people. So that is my interest in asking him about that experience in life. So that was why I spent I'd like to know about that. So what about you? You seems to be speaking so well English with a little accent. I think it's from Australia, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, you are right.
I'm right, huh? And your English is perfect. I can understand you 100%. And tell us a little bit about yourself. This is the first time I talk to you. What do you do in Australia? Are you still in Australia, or you back in Vietnam, or anywhere?
Yes, I'm still in Australia. But before I'm talking about myself,
right.
Like I said, I suppose that most of the people in the room already knows about me, but that's you. you haven't talked to me before, or
I haven't never, yes.
Have any chance, like
right.
in terms of interaction.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you, and I learned about teaching experience. To me, teaching or teacher is just an occupation, or it's just a job. But at the same time, as a teacher, they have a reward in a way that sometimes it's different to most of other profession, because if you just see your job as a source of income, definitely you can't contribute and can't help your student and other people as much as if you dedicate to your student, and you was born to be that way. And most of the other professions, they see themselves as the same things as well. If they don't have the aspiration and only see a source of income, then they can't perform their job as good or to the best interest. And that's what I see. And that's why we come across good teacher and bad teacher.
I do agree with you totally, because like you said, like it's a dedication, right? It's it's not for like you said, the good teachers. And I hope most of them are good teachers, but some of them are in for income, So I don't know. I don't want to judge them, but I mean, it's some are can't change them, that it exists, they exist. Some are for the money, and actually I heard, I don't know in other country, but in Vietnam, somewhere in Vietnam, few teachers are really in it for the money. It's it's the reward. They think that they're right, because they spend more time, and they expect to get more reward in financially, I guess. And I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, I have the same perception, just like you, that we cannot criticize or say anything about that kind of profession, because it can be very sensible in a way that people, they have to gain a lot of knowledge and put their heart and soul into the workplace and helping the other. To me, I always have the respect on, doesn't matter whether they are bad or a good teacher, in a way that they spend their life and kind of like spread out or helping other in a way. So it doesn't matter if they qualify or they not qualify. If you're using your time and helping everyone, that's the reward anyway.
Right.
And it's just like what you are doing now. It's great, because for those that doesn't live in the Western society, and how important time is, and we are, and you are, and all other instructors here, using your own time and come up here and sharing, as well as giving the knowledge to the other, their own experience. It's just amazing to me, and I actually did spend some time to come to Paltalk and do the same things, but like I said, it's a matter of time. Sometimes you come up here and you kind of like force yourselves that whether I contribute my best interest or use 100% of my time and to help these people, or just come up here and having some fun. I find it's really, really hard, and to me, sometimes I find that it's hard in a way that you can't come up and hold in the class. For you, I can see I've been to to your, to your lesson a couple of times, and I can see that you focus on, song and try to emphasize and a bit of analyze about the songs, about the idea of the author or the writer, and use that as your what you call
for the learning method.
Learning method.
Yeah.
And I can see that you only spend a couple of hours a day, like face to face or directly with interact with other people here on Paltalk. But then again, when you go away, you spend a lot more time before you come up with the song. And I can see, because I've done this before, and I know there's so much time and which most people here don't understand that, and they can't see that.
Right. I agree with you. I agree with you, and thank you for the kind words that you have for me personally and in other instructors in the room in general. But you're right. I have to, in order to choose a song, it's now it's a matter of automatic, because it's like because I've done that many years ago, because I've been here from the beginning. So I have in my repertoire, if you will, in my database, a few songs, maybe 50, maybe 100, I don't remember. But I have to choose them, because not every song can be suitable for a class, right? Because some song is very delicious in music. Musically, it's very nice to listen to and but there's only a few words in it, and I don't think it's worthwhile to bring to the class and spend a few hours, just a few words, and vice versa. There are some songs, a lot of words, but some of them are exposing, they expose the attitude of the artist. Sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's in rock and roll they can use bad words in it and so many other things, It's not suitable for the class. So I have to rip them off, just let them go. And a few songs that I know remain to be, that I consider suitable, and then make a choice. There's a lot of hard work, but I have been doing it before. So now this time around, when I come back, it's like not repeat it, but the whole process I start from beginning, because after a few years there's some new students, they never heard of the song, and it's still fresh for them, But I have to agree, the first time that I come up with those songs, I have to work a lot more, I have to listen to it, I have to understand what it means. Is it worthwhile to bring to the class? Anything that it makes sense, or something that is deep, something it's meaningful, or something. I have to make that kind of judgment, before. So it's, thank you for that, and so your nice work and everything. Do you like to participate? You'd like to read and see what it means for this song in particular?
Oh, definitely.
Sure. Okay.
That's the reasons why I'm here.
Okay, sure. So this is the second paragraph of the song, or second verse. So I think that you're very well prepared, or very well equipped to read it. You don't need my help for this. But then after that, we love to hear what you say about the meaning. Okay? So please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, can't wait to get into the meaning of this song.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll read this out loud
Right.
to you and everyone in the room. People say I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice, desires, and enlighten me. When I tell them that I'm doing by watching shadows on the wall, don't you miss the big time, boys? You're no longer.
Very, very nice. I like the Australian accent in particular. Something it's really, I like that accent. You got it. You know? Can you do it once more, please?
Okay. People say I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice, desires, and enlighten me. When I tell them that I'm doing by watching shadows on the wall, don't you miss the big time, boy? You're no longer on the ball.
Okay. Như các bạn nghe cao đẳng ha. Cao đẳng có một giọng Úc nghe rất là khác với giọng Mỹ, đúng không? Và có cái gì đó nó rất là thân thiện, hoặc là có cái giọng rất là lạ. I know a few singers. They are Australian, like Olivia Newton-John. Okay. And who else? Like in the 80s, early 90s, there were a group called Midnight Oil. Okay. They are Australian, and In Excess, I don't know if you heard of them, but rock artist, In Excess, and now with who is I don't remember his name, but he's married to the actress there. She's the ex-wife of Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman.
Oh, you mean Keith?
Yeah, Keith Urban or Keith?
Keith Urban. Yeah.
Keith Urban. Yeah, he's Australian too. So I like that accent in particular, Australian. Anyway, so what do you think? What it means here in the verse of this verse of the song? You can summarize it in English or translate in Vietnamese. What do you understand by this? What the artist trying to say here?
It's very interesting because I don't know whether the artist is.
The artist is John Lennon. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether the artist tried to. Well, pretty much. I've heard that most of the Western songwriter, when they write the moment of. Most of the time they write about their own life story,
right?
As well at the moment that at the period of time that they live in.
Exactly. Yes.
They try to express their feeling into the song.
At that moment, right?
at that moment, that's right. So in here, what he. Well, it's not about himself, but about what other people think about him.
Right.
So it's the connecting between him and the public.
Right. And the people around him, right? People are judgmental. People just have a harsh word for him. But he's trying to defend himself, right? Or give it a reason why he's doing what he's doing, right?
So when people say, I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. So this kind of like he having kind of an affair with the mass media as well. At the first sentence, that's what I can read. I can understand whether he in a situation that he had to deal with the public.
Right. You're right on it. John Lennon is very famous Beatle. You heard of the Beatles, right? He's one of the famous. He's and Paul McCartney. He's one of the Beatles, and he's very is very famous figure in rock and roll or in pop culture. There's a lot of media, mass media that you said, talking about him or judging him or comment on him, right?
Because when the band, the Beatles, was popular, was that in the 80s?
Yeah, when they split in the 70s or in the late 60s or early 70s or something like that, they split, right?
And that's when I wasn't even born, but I don't know, when I was young, I don't know anything about the Beatles, but until when I moved to Australia, one of his sons, Julian
Lennon, right.
Yeah, Julian Lennon, and he at the time in the early 90s, Julian was quite popular.
I see. Yeah, he got in 1 or 2 albums out.
Yeah, and 1 or 2 songs it become a hit, and he was very popular at the time. I can't remember what song that I heard. I can't recall the name of the song, but I remember when I was at an ESL class, one of my teachers actually talking about Julian, and that's how I have to connect with the Beatles.
Oh yeah, interesting.
That's how I become to know, start to know about the Beatles and John Lennon and all that sort of other bands. But,
right.
But then we go back to the song. We try to get out of it. Okay, that I said, people. The first sentence is just try to. He kind of like gets straight to the point that he's telling people that he's dealing with the mass media.
Right.
And then now he kind of convincing the public about himself.
Right.
Well, they give me all kinds of advice, enlighten me. Okay, again, okay, this is the public. Everyone tries to think of this. They, me all kind of advice, so, I'm not quite sure what sort of advice that, he needs. Probably what he have done and the advice that he needs to sue the problem or to stratify the situation and enlighten me. I like this word. They have a lot to do, in the olden. It's not an old word that used to do a lot in religious and all that sort of stuff.
Right. So, enlightenment. Yes.
Another word, empower, is a new word nowadays. People normally use in Australia.
Right.
When I tell them that I'm doing 5 watching shadow on the wall. Okay. When I tell them that I'm doing 5 watching shadow on the wall. Okay, I might need you to help me with this.
Okay.
Watching shadow.
Okay. Well, actually, the title of the song is "Watching the Wheels." So, if you like, or if you permit me, while you're asking me, I know a little bit of why he's writing this, because I have read about himself and biography of him and the Beatles in general. Okay, so when the Beatles split in the late '60s, okay, and everybody went a separate way, and then John Lennon formed a band with his wife Yoko Ono. Okay, she's Japanese national. Okay. Very famous Yoko Ono, and Paul McCartney went on to form another band called The Wings with his wife Linda. Okay, so they went separate ways, and the Beatles split and finished. And John Lennon was still very successful. He went out. He put out a few albums, and then all of a sudden, around 19. Well, he was dead in 1980, right? So during the 70s, he sometimes with the artists, I don't know if you know a little bit about art, art in general. When they create something, making an album, making a movie, or painting, whatever they do, they kind of have inspiration, ideas about some project, right? And John Lennon had produced a few albums previously, and then all of a sudden he came to a stop because no more ideas, whatever went on in his life, struggle with life or whatever went on to his life. He stopped producing music. Okay. So when here that I understand why he's saying what he's saying is that when I tell them that I'm doing fine watching shadows on the wall, and the first one, if you like to refer to the first one, is people tell me I'm crazy. Okay, this is the first one, right? You were here. And when I say that I'm okay, people say that he's crazy, he's lazy, because he's not producing music no more for a few years. People kind of expect from him, he's a genius in music and he's very active and productive. And somehow he stopped doing that. And kind of people here, like you identify them like probably mass media, and some people in the music business, like some producers from some other, agents and other people attached to his career. And when he's stuck with ideas, for some artists, they just doing nothing, just do some reflections on his career or on himself or on his marriage or something going on in his life, And I know there were around that period in 1977, 1978, before 2 years after he was shot to death, right? But during that time, he was very struggling with his career because he doesn't have the inspiration or ideas or whatever that gives him to the public, some song, some album or something. And during that time, why he was not producing anything or was not doing anything, that's some pressure coming from the public, especially maybe some producers in Hollywood or somewhere, the record companies. They kind of pressure him, do something. How come we don't hear from you anymore? What are you doing or something? He was struggling with his marriage. Actually, during that time, when I read the biography from him, of him, his wife and him split for maybe a year or 6 months. I don't remember how long. And they used to live in New York City, right? Him and his wife, Yoko Ono. And during that time, he went to California. Okay? His wife sent him to California to separate, to split, to be far away, not to be together during that time. And he was very confused. He was very sad. He was unhappy. He was not doing anything, just being far away in the West Coast, having fun or whatever. But he was very unhappy. So during that time, he didn't do anything. He complains that he was unhappy and stuff like that. He didn't do anything. So maybe that is the phrase here, the sentence here, or the phrase, a little short phrase here, when I say that I'm, when I tell them that I'm doing fine, watching shadows on the wall, when you're not doing anything, you just, stay there and not doing anything and just watching shadows on the wall, people don't do that, people just don't do that, when you have troubles dealing with your life, when you have nothing to do, and just sit there and maybe smoking and drinking and just watching shadows on the wall, something is wrong, right? And for him, it's perfectly okay, when there's no inspiration, there's no ideas for any project at all. He's just sitting there, lazy, doing nothing, lazy, For some people it's lazy, but, he's thinking about, next step or next project or something, and why he's doing that. And, people watching him and didn't get it, So that is my interpretation. I can't be John Lennon to explain that to the world, but, I think that's what he meant, Like,
oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it sounds a little bit strange, but I can refer to the biography of him, so I can sense that why he's writing that, Okay, please go ahead. Yeah, sorry to take too much time.
And yeah, definitely, whether you read a book or you listen to a song, there's always a background, which is so you can fully understand the meaning of it.
Right.
And definitely, if you don't research or read about the life of John Lennon at the time, you wouldn't fully understand the
exactly
music, not the lyric, and the massive thing that you miss out for the song. And especially this song is very meaningful to me. What I see, so it's important that you have to do some research. But anyway, let's go back to that paragraph. Okay, so when he say I'm doing fine, so he kind of deny himself.
Right.
He kind of deny himself, but he's really in trouble. Why he in trouble? Watching shadow on the wall, he's stuck. He's totally stuck, and
exactly.
don't know what to do.
Right.
So just
doing
like
nothing.
A prisoner,
right.
Locked in the cells before war. He's stuck. Right. But when he say, "Don't you miss out the big time boy, you're no longer on the ball." This is, again, we go back to the public.
Right.
So, but it could be him talking to himself. Exactly the same at the last sentence of the last phrase.
Right.
Don't you miss out the big time boy, you're no longer on the ball. So pretty much he said that, don't forget you was once glorified, like massive in public.
Right.
Everyone adore you. Everyone kind of like title you like a king, popular.
Right.
And now you no longer be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you no longer be glorified. You be popular.
Right.
Like in the music industry or in the
right.
public
right.
public life.
That's perfect perfect summarizing, or understanding of this one, because, I can add a little bit here, because, John Lennon, actually he were after Elvis Presley, he was that popular, At one time, the Beatles, very arrogantly himself, John Lennon, when he was still with the Beatles, when they selling record, all over the world, millions and millions of record, and he said to the media, in interview, he said, now we are more popular than Christianity. You know, he said that, and because he said that, he explained later, you know, he regrets having said that, but if they were really popular, you know, everybody all around all corners of the world heard about the Beatles or listened to the Beatles songs in the 60s, you know, and he very arrogantly said that. And he later regretted it because, you know, some people upset a lot of people, you know, because a lot of people in Catholic and in Christianity, you know, and they smash, you know, they go out and smash a number of Beatles records, you know, and they're very upset, you know, because he offended some of the Catholic people, you know. So he regretted having said that, but, you know, they were really popular, you know. And like you said, when the big time here, don't you miss the big time or the Beatles were, or himself, were on top of the game, right? They were like, you know, idol, you know, all over the world, you know. They give concert throughout England, throughout United States, Australia. Yeah, they went to Australia and Philippines and Japan and all over Europe to, you know, to give concert, you know. Sadly enough, they didn't last long enough to go, you know, because the Beatles were not even, you know, even they were that big, but they didn't have time to be together, to be long enough, like the Rolling Stones, you know, to go all over the world to give concert. You know, that was the story behind the Beatles. So, at the end they said, don't you miss the big time boy, you're no longer on the ball, because he wants very huge, you know, start in, they called it rock and roll start, you know, he was huge. Anyway, so, you know, like, even though you know a little bit of them, thanks to Julian Lennon that you have learned about the Beatles, right? But, I think you have a very good understanding what he's trying to say here, right? Himself is John Lennon writing this song. Anything you want to add to this paragraph?
I don't really have anything to add to it, you know, after the conversation. I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're gonna, you know, for those that are gonna translate this into Vietnamese,
right,
it probably make no sense because it's just like how when you look at the language, go back to, you know,
it's very hard,
language,
right?
Yeah. Going back to Vietnamese language, if you, for those that have any knowledge about Han Viet, and you probably can kind of like consider to this kind of language as well, because when you read Han Viet, and you know, you can translate into Vietnamese, and most people some people understand, but then again you have to translate into Nom. So another word is like, if you got to translate this into Vietnamese, you need to translate in a kind of like you know, like sentence to sentence, but then again you have to translate the meaning of the sentence. So the meaning of sentence is different to the way that you're going to translate into Vietnamese.
Very hard, but some people, to my astonishment, some people do it very well translating in Vietnamese, you know. Even though it's not, sometimes I don't say in a way that Westerners or in this case English, they put, the way they put the words together and the way they mean, you know. And in Vietnamese, sometimes we match those words, or we match the meaning of it, of the whole sentence. But some other time, it's so hard, you know. Let's say, for example, You know, how can you say the simple phrase like, I am okay? In English, it's very, very easy to say, and you hear it very oftenly, right? How you translate that into Vietnamese? What is, anybody can help me? You know, like, how do you translate, I am okay? In Vietnamese, anybody? Some people say, okay, tôi tốt, tôi ổn, tôi cái gì đó. Tôi vẫn ổn, đúng không? Tôi vẫn ổn. Tôi không sao ha, tôi không sao. Nhưng mà nó rất là khó ha. Tại vì khi mà nó nói là nhiều khi tất cả những cái nghĩa đó luôn, tức là có nghĩa là tôi không sao ha, tôi vẫn ổn. Nhưng mà các bạn ví dụ như là bình thường mọi người Việt mình nói chuyện với nhau, sao lúc này sao thân hai đứa con trai đi với nhau ha, xin lỗi nói câu này ha, sao lúc này sao mày ha, thì người kia ví dụ như tiếng Anh người ta nói I'm okay, I'm fine, thì tiếng Việt mình nói sao, tao bình thường hả, hay là tao vẫn như thế, hay là tao ổn. Ví dụ như nói là tôi ổn, hay là tôi không sao. Cái chữ mà tôi không sao đó có nghĩa là hỏi trả lời cùng những nghĩa đó, nhưng mà khi mà nói tôi không sao thì trong tiếng Việt nó lại có cái nghĩa khác chút xíu, tức là giống như là người ta hỏi móc mình cái chuyện gì đã xảy ra, bây giờ bạn như thế nào không? Thì nói là tôi không sao, tức là không có gì trầm trọng cả, đúng không? Nhưng mà khi mà người Anh người ta nói I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm perfectly okay, cái chữ okay của nó mặc dù nó rất là ngắn thôi, nhưng mà tiếng Việt của mình nó không có một cái chữ gì mà nó gọi là equivalent, mà vừa ngắn vừa gọn mà diễn tả đủ hết cái nghĩa của người Anh cả, đúng không? Cũng nhiều còn đang thở ha, chưa chết ha, đó chẳng hạn như thế. Từ ngữ Việt Nam rất là đa dạng không? Tức là cái chữ mà ok của tiếng Anh á, là nó tất cả những cái chữ mà các bạn vừa viết ra. Ok, tôi không sao, tôi vẫn ổn, tôi vẫn bình thường, tôi vẫn như thế, tôi còn thở, tôi chưa chết thế nọ thế kia. Nhưng mà tiếng Anh nó chỉ có chữ ok thôi là nó diễn đạt hết rồi, đúng không? Mà mình á, nếu mà dịch ra tiếng Việt mình không có cái chữ nào vừa ngắn vừa gọn như thế cả, đúng không các bạn? Đó là một vài trường hợp mà lấy ví dụ cho các bạn, là trong một vài trường hợp nó nhỏ như vậy thôi, nhưng mà nhiều khi dịch ra tiếng Việt nó cũng không có dễ lắm, đúng không nhỉ? Trong những trường hợp khác, in other cases, you know, some people in this class, in this room, they come up with the translation. So, you know, I'm so glad, you know, to when I listen to the translation, I'm so overwhelmed, you know, like how good they are in translation. You know, it sounds so good, and it's perfectly accurate to the original in English, and they're really talented. You know, some people are really. So in some cases, you know, but most of cases, I think translation in Vietnamese is possible and very close to the meaning of the English original version of it.
Well,
impressed, yeah, overwhelmed and impressed.
Language to the very close of its meaning. But what I'm trying to say is it's not like, you know, this song no one can translate into Vietnamese or any other language. It's just like to be able to translate into the meaning of it. That's another step.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very challenging, and sometimes it's not there yet. You know, it's not exactly what it is. You know, but you know, just for example, I like to give people a chance to do that translation, because it forces them to come up with some words
I
and
to translate.
Yes,
don't get me wrong.
Right. Yeah. And in other way, like your English is so, I can call it perfect, and then you have enough vocabulary to to explain it in plain English. That is even perfect in a English room. Because what we're trying to do here is to learn English and to practice, and you have enough English words to explain or to analyze it. Actually, impressed, hồi nãy mà nói cái chuyện kia đó, I actually, I prefer the word impressed. Overwhelmed là nhiều khi không phải chỉ overwhelmed là overwhelmingly đó, kiểu như là overwhelmingly impressed, tức là very hugely impressed with the effort that people trying to translate into Vietnamese. Some of the phrases, some of the sentences, so difficult. Very good conversation with you, Mr. Cao Đẳng, and my pleasure to talk to you. I hope that you come often to share with us, right? And
my pleasure too.
Yes, I do like what you share with us and your opinion, and especially your Australian accent. Keep it like that, don't change. Okay, it's very very cute accent. Yes.
It's not easy to change an accent.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You practice every time.
So, by the way, before you go, what I asked you before to share with us a little bit about yourself. What field are you working in? What field do you study? Something like that.
Okay. I've been here quite a long time, so
yes.
I went through a lot of different, professions. I've done a lot in Australia, and recently I just went back to uni to do my master.
Oh, I see. So what did you study to be master in what field? Which field?
I prefer not to tell. But,
no? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Don't
do a lot of.
Don't reveal if you don't want to.
So.
Okay, that's good enough for me. I was just curious because you bring a lot to the table here. I think you have your knowledge of English is so good, so well, and then not only that, you have a depth of thinking, of analyzing and understanding and very 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 well. So you contribute a lot to the class here. I thank you very much.
And sorry for cut you out, but actually I'm just finished reading a book, and I'm just about to do my review, review.
Right.
And when after this conversation, I thought it's very interesting, and it kind of relates to the work that I'm doing now, because before you try to emphasize or analyze something, you need to go a bit deep, which is, go to background of the artist or the author, which is, I have been doing the whole morning since I got up.
Oh, really?
And,
So you do a lot of reading then. Whatever you do in your profession, you do a lot of reading. I guess, to be able to obtain the master degree, you have to read a lot, depending, whatever you pursue,
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes you read a material, it doesn't really mean what is said, but it's the meaning of it is behind what you say, what you just read.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's exactly, this song is about. What you read is not exactly what it means. What it means is behind the message of the material of the word that you read.
Right.
So it's kind of complicated, but we try not to make it too complicated to people here. It's just because they want to read and they want to understand what exactly the word mean on according to this song.
Right. Well, I'm very happy, or very happy to have talked to you and have known you today. And if you like to read, I like to spend with you some other time, offline or off the class, because I like to read too, and I follow some certain stories, and I like to share with you too what you think of it, beyond this class or beyond some other time when you have time, because I said I follow some interesting topics, around the world, and maybe if you share with me, that would be appreciated.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on around the world, and if you like to read and you understand so well, then that we have a lot of things to share, to talk about.
Okay. I think I should have leave your precious time to
well,
people in the room.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, I talk to you later.
Reader, if